Hi, I'm Terry Luc, Director of Communications here at Our Lady of Perpetual Help Church in Glenview. Time for another Fireside Chat with our pastor, Father Jeremiah Boland. Father Jerry, how are you?
Good, Terry. How are you?
Good.
Springtime.
It's springtime, and you'd think things would slow down around here, but they never slow down at OLPH. Let's just talk about some of the things that have happened. I mean, what a spring it's been. Maybe we should start out with the Celebration of Mundelein. You were honored, as well as Sister Pauline and Dr. Amy Mills. Maybe you could give everyone a recap on that wonderful event.
It was quite an evening. I was blown away by the whole thing. Every year they honor a graduate from the seminary, of which I'm the class of 1981. And, to be recognized from the seminary you attended is very meaningful. And then they've always acknowledged a educator and a religious, but they've never, in all the years they've been doing this, honored a particular parish.
Yeah.
And Mundelein is all about the formation of future parish priests, and to be able to have a pastor and someone of the stature of Sister Pauline. And then I was so proud of Dr. Mills. Typically there's this very nationally renowned theologian that is acknowledged for the contributions they've made in the area of religious education. And here a grammar school principal. And if you look at the influence of a principal on the faith lives of the children in their school, it's just an enormous recognition of how important our education, formation of children are. And it was a great turnout of parishioners at the event. It was sold out. It was the first time that's happened. So it was very affirming, and as a pastor, made me feel so proud to be part of Our Lady of Perpetual Help. That was the reason we were there, is Our Lady of Perpetual Help Parish, and the impact this parish has had on the formation of seminarians, newly ordained priests. To have that recognized and appreciated just means so much.
Yeah, it was great to see so many young priests there. It was a wonderful event. But the one person who was missing was Cardinal Cupich, because he had to be in Rome electing a new pope, right. and here what happens. We get a pope from Chicago.
Yeah, I still can't quite believe it actually happened. I fell off the chair when I was watching the news. There's all sorts of geopolitical reasons why there was the conviction that they would never be an American because of the prominence of the United States on the world. And the Holy Father is such a fascinating person. The more you study his background, he checks all the boxes for someone who would assume the role of the Vicar of Christ. He speaks 6 languages. He's lived in 3 continents. He's been a missionary in the poorest diocese in Peru, which says a lot. He's worked for many years in the Vatican as the prior provincial of the Augustinians and the dicastery that appoints bishops. So it's going to be an exciting new era for the church. I had he wouldn't know me if he tripped over me, but 25 years ago I was the head of the personnel system here in the Archdiocese, and he at the time was the provincial of the Augustinians here in Chicago. And so I had a number of dealings with them as we were processing appointments of Augustinians. And then there was a time when we closed our preparatory high school seminary, Quigley South, and the Augustinians moved St. Rita High School to that campus. So I interacted with them when that was all going on. Really a wonderful person. I was called by NBC to do a brief interview the day of his election. They were panicking, trying to find a priest who that might have met the Holy Father. And I'm on my way to the studio thinking, they'll probably be asking me questions about poverty, homelessness, the role of the church in the world, the Ukraine war, all these things. No, the big question when I got in the studio was, is he a Cub fan or a Sox fan? And I said, the mother was a North Sider is all I can tell you. And it was like, oh my God, who could I call? I must confirm, because the early rumors were that he was a Cub fan, and like everyone, I was devastated to find out that he's actually a Sox fan. But there's a humanity or human factor there, and we're very excited. On June the 14th, there'll be a celebration here in Chicago of his election at Sox Park, and I don't know nothing about nothing, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone shows up on the Jumbotron on a live feed from Rome if I was a betting man. But it's very exciting for our city, for the United States, and for the larger church.
Mm-hmm. And okay, so we have that celebration going on the 14th, but the celebration the week before is for Father Larry and Father Patrick. Yeah. They're leaving us.
Yes, they're both dead to me. No. We've been so blessed with these two guys over the last several years. They came to us as newly ordained priests. To my earlier point, this is a great place to learn the work of a parish priest. And Father Patrick and Father Larry have flourished here, and they'll be a great gift. Patrick eventually will be the pastor of St. Patrick's in Lake Forest, and Father Larry to the parish of St. Paul VI in Riverside. They have so many gifts, these two guys, and I'm going to miss them terribly. As priests, we don't pick who we live with, and unlike most people, you don't live with the people you work with, and so sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. We've had a great time ministering to this parish, living together, very supportive of one another. I'm going to really miss them, but I know, when St. Patrick's was looking for a priest who would be an evangelizer, and boy, they're getting that in spades with dear Father Patrick. He's such an energetic guy, and St. Paul VI is a Vatican II parish. It's 3 parishes have been formed into one parish, and that's a difficult process. But they really wanted a pastor that will keep moving them forward as a parish of Vatican II. So, we're going to have a great send-off for them and a great celebration of their ministry here. And then my hope is, keep praying that we'll get 2 associates to replace them. We're the largest parish on the list of parishes in search of associate pastors, but there's a lot of parishes that if they don't get an associate, they'll just have the pastors. So there's a lot of need out there. So I'm confident that we'll get replacements. And as soon as I hear anything, I'll be communicating that to the parish.
Do you have any kind of timeline, do you think, before the end of, by mid-June? Or?
Yes. I'm sort of hoping in the next week or so. Because, the priests need time to transition to where they're going to, and we have to prepare the living spaces for at least 1, hopefully 2 associate pastors. But it'll be happening pretty soon.
That'll be wonderful. So don't forget, June 7th, we're having a special Mass and reception for both Father Larry and Father Patrick. And then the following week, down at White Sox Park, we'll have a celebration. There will be a giant celebration.
Yes.
For all Chicago parishioners or Catholics.
Anybody's welcome. There'll be information how to get tickets. You can get tickets the day of the event. There may be a possibility to get tickets ahead of time. But it's going to be a great Chicago moment. There's no question about it. The one who's the most excited about it is Cardinal Supich. He can't wait. As I said to people, I don't know what they call that place anymore. It used to be Comiskey Park, then it's something with rating this and rating that. I don't know what it's, but now it's Sox Park. So
make it easy, right? Just
yes,
Sox
right,
Park.
Right.
Well, let's talk about a couple things going on here then. We've got 2 things I'll let you talk about, or I'd like you to talk about. The McDonnell Hall renovation and the Generation to Generation campaign. They're both moving along.
Right. And we finally are moving ahead with the renovation of McDonnell Hall. There were a lot of factors involved in preparing to begin the process. There were some issues affecting the heating system in the upper church, and the thought was to put some of that underlying work, get that done, so that when the pipes for the heating system upstairs have to be replaced, we wouldn't have to tear out the ceiling we just put in McDonnell Hall. But they're down there right now. We are putting in this new pipe system. All the demolition is completed, and now begins the process of renovating. It's going to be a beautiful space when it's done. I get more and more excited. Every Monday we have a meeting with the general contractor. There are so many moving parts, as you know, to any kind of renovation project. And with an old church, every time you open a wall, sometimes you get Father, I've never seen anything like that before.
Right.
Well,
the drawings themselves are so old, right? The original drawings.
But it will be a beautiful space for liturgy, for many of the social gatherings that we have, for the Cub Scouts, for the Women's Club, whoever has used it. They're going to get a wonderful space. It'll have all the latest technological resources and an updated and renovated kitchen. It's going to be a great investment for years to come, as was the McDonnell Hall we've enjoyed over the last several years. It's one of our largest meeting spaces, and it's going to be well equipped for the future.
Now, how's it been navigating all the communions and confirmations and graduations without that space? Has it gone smoothly?
It's gone very smoothly. It's challenging, and I have to say how grateful I am for the patience of all of you. We have had to suspend the 9:30 Mass. It's a very family-centered liturgy. Hopefully, in a few weeks, we'll start that Mass outside in the tent. With the summer coming, the likelihood is that we could have several outdoor Masses for families that like to go at that Mass time. But for First Communions, confirmations, graduations, our religious ed and school people have been very patient with, shifting meeting spaces. The Palladium is being used around the clock right now for various gatherings. And the tent will be up for most of the summer. That's another place for any groups that would normally be having activities in McDonnell Hall. They're welcome to the tent. We have a summer camp going on, Vacation Bible School. So there'll be a lot of people using the front lawn until McDonnell Hall is available. The schedule has us going to the end of September. We got our fingers crossed. The general contractor, if we don't have any supply chain issues, so maybe we could get closer to the beginning of school. That would move it up a few weeks.
Wow,
but we're plowing ahead, and hopefully we'll be able to plan a dedication of the newly renovated McDonnell Hall.
Excellent. Okay, so let's talk about the big thing, the Generation to Generation campaign. Maybe you could talk about what it is, where we're at, and it's also interesting that we were actually selected as one of the earliest parishes to be involved in this campaign.
Yes, as I mentioned earlier about Renew My Church, when that process was going along, the diocese realized that 70% of our parishes were financially unsustainable, and that set off a lot of blinking red lights that we had to get a handle on what was happening. So we've gone through this massive process of looking at the viability of every single parish. 7 years ago we had 300 parishes, and some of these parishes were monumental buildings with no congregation, and then we had suburban areas that are bursting at the seams and no resources to enhance those places and facilities. And so we've gone through this. Now we've gone from 300 parishes to 200, and now we're at 70% of parishes that are financially sustainable. That is a significant turnaround. We're always going to have unsustainable parishes because we deal and minister and live with our brothers and sisters in financially challenged communities. There'll never be a time when every single parish will be financially. It's part of our responsibility as a community. But we're in a much stronger position at this point. After we have gone through the structural change, the Cardinal thought now is the time to address the spiritual realities of our parishes and the larger church. to continue our healing from the COVID crisis and to give the parishes the resources they need. So this is a $300 million campaign. $100 million of it will go for diocesan initiatives, taking care of our priests and the ongoing education of priests. Priests are living a lot longer. We have as many retired priests as active priests, and we just didn't have the resources for that. So part of that will be to secure the future of our priests. The other is to give the resources to financially challenged parishes so they can have the staff and address some of their capital needs through the proceeds of this campaign. And then a third of it will go into the investment in the spiritual renewal of the Archdiocese of Chicago, to come up with programs, resources to help our parishes to keep growing spiritually. We have to deal with the declining number of people going to church. How can we reverse that trend? How can we reach out more effectively to young people who often do not see the church as part of their spiritual landscape? So that's the diocesan mission. Here at OL, we identified 7 projects that we feel are great investments for generations to come of OLPHers, because this campaign is generation to generation. Look at what we've been given from the generations before. What can we hand on to the next generation of believers? We want to deal with accessibility. We have 2 buildings, the Palladium and the Lexington building, that are not accessible. And like the Palladium, we have Grandparents' Day, and we have grandparents that can't go to Grandparents' Day because they can't get into the Palladium. We have so many different events there, Holly Fair and Round Ball and all sorts of things. It'll be a great advantage to have that building accessible. The Lexington building is our biggest school building. We have 850 children in the school, and we have 500 children in religious ed. Even with that number of kids, you've got X amount of broken ankles, broken legs, things that are mobility issues, as well as wanting our school and our religious ed program to be able to accept children that have physical disabilities, or faculty, or parents that have physical disabilities, that they can be as much involved in the world of their children as anybody else. We want to deal with Glenview Road. There's all this energy on Glenview Road right now. New restaurants, new stores. A lot of times people drive by Glenview Road and ask, where is OLPH? They can't see the church because the church is in the neighborhood. So we want to create a welcoming, here we are, come on in, message to the community. Safety. We have thousands of people in the course of a week that are on this campus. We want to invest in the safety infrastructure of our parish. We've got to be able to stay on top of new challenges for the safety of so many on our campus, from enhanced video surveillance to Bluetooth technologies, to exterior lighting, to more secure entrances and exits. Those are all very expensive projects, but essential to the safety of all of our people. Sister Pauline, has been a crucial person in our Needy Family Fund efforts here. We have 4 sharing parishes. We'd like to have money to help each of these parishes have their own Needy Family Fund. These parishes deal with a lot more direct, basic needs than we do. And look at how successful and effective our Needy Family Fund is. And so we, in the spirit of the legacy of Sister Pauline and this tremendous influence she's had on all of us, we'd like to help our 4 sharing parishes in this way. Our pews in the church have taken a beating, particularly during COVID. They need to be refinished and repaired. We want to get our pews all set. And then hospitality. We've talked about how important hospitality is for the parish. We want to develop a hospitality center where groups could meet that center around a meal. Wouldn't it be great if after Mass, it'd be much easier to go over for a cup of coffee and a donut, funeral luncheons, kind of those gatherings we just don't have the space for. And generation to generation will give us that ability. We have an ambitious goal of $6 million. That will satisfy our responsibilities for our diocesan goal and then give us the resources that we are confident will help us address these projects. And we're doing great. We've now surpassed the $5 million mark. So we're less than 20% short of our goal. And so for the next few weekends, I'm going to ask everyone's patience because I know this is disruptive. And if you've already pledged, thank you. But sometimes it can be like, why do we have to keep talking about this? They've already pledged. But we want to get as many parishioners as possible to give a gift, whatever that gift is. We're all at different challenges financially. But when people make some kind of sacrifice, they really feel part of this invention or this investment in the future of OLPH Parish, Our Lady of Perpetual Help. So for the next few weekends at the Masses, there'll be an in-pew appeal. We're going to try to do one final effort to get as many people on board so we can get to that $6 million mark. The way the capital campaign is structured, we're going to be able to get started on projects sooner than was the case in previous campaigns. And so we hope that by the end of July, we'll have a pretty good idea of where we're at in relationship to the $6 million. And once we figure out how much the total pledging is, we then will appropriate what the budgetary numbers are so we can find a way to get all 7 projects completed. And by the fall, if things are looking good, which I am very confident they will be, we'll prioritize and get started right away on the first projects of generation to generation answer the call. Again, thank you to everyone for considering this campaign. I know there are many requests. There are many invitations for you to support many wonderful things. Some of you have particular challenges. You've got kids in college, you're caring for an elderly parent, you've got mortgages, I know that you have many claims on your resources. So thanks for so many who have come forward. Thanks to those of you who are discerning. And within a few weeks, the pledging process will be completed and we'll be moving forward.
It's amazing. It's amazing the generosity of the parishioners.
Oh, it's phenomenal. Yeah.
It's fantastic. And there's information in the bulletin, on our website, and in the daily e-blast if you need any information on how to get involved in the Generation to Generation campaign. Well, thanks, Father Jerry.
Thank you, Terry.
Wow, again, things never slow down here.
No. I was kidding with some priest friends of mine about the month of May, and one of the pastors refers to it as May-cember because May, you always think, well, after Easter things start. Well, actually, May is the busiest month of the year from a church point of view. So, looking forward to summer. Get out there, chill out, wind down, and enjoy the summer months so that we'll all be re-energized as we begin again in the fall.
That's right. And we hope to see you and your crew in the pew on Sunday.